Okay, good morning, everybody. I'm just going to let everybody get a chance to come in and get themselves settled. Grab yourself a cup of tea. I've got one. And we're just going to let everybody just get themselves sorted out. I know it's a bit early to be thinking about Christmas, but what we're talking about today is all about getting organised in advance. So, yeah, so grab a cuppa, grab a seat, and we'll just do some of the introductory stuff just so you can meet us. We'll do the housekeeping before everybody else comes. So for start, hello, I'm Brenda. I'm one of the Crowdfunders Scotland team. And this is my colleague, Kirsty.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, so we're going to be with you on this morning's webinar. And I'm just going to hand over to Kirsty to talk you through some housekeeping to start us off.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so we have 45 minutes scheduled for this particular session, but that's just leaving plenty of time for some questions and answers at the end. So, Brenda, sorry, I'm going to put up to second. Brenda, are you near the microphone on your laptop?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of ruffling noise going on. Okay. So yes, if anybody has any questions, pop them into the chat box, which is on your right-hand side, and we'll pick them all up at the end. But if you can type them in as they come into your head. It is being recorded, this session. So we'll send out a link to everybody via email towards the end of the day, probably. And also, just to let you know, if you do have any issues with connections at all, usually just refreshing your browser and your internet browser will sort that out. You'll just leave the room and rejoin. So should you have any issues at all with that. Okay, and Brenda's going to run us through what we're going to cover today. So
okay,
let me hand you back.
Sure. Okay. So we'll start off with give you an idea what we're going to cover. Now we're not going deeply into how crowdfunding works as a tool today. Kirsty and myself and our other colleagues have created a whole series of webinars that go into the technicalities of that, so we can give you as much information on it as you want. Today we're just going to touch a wee bit on the benefits of crowdfunding, and we'll explain the different types, whether donations or rewards. But what we're going to really focus on today is our audience today. Your community groups, your charities, some of your businesses, and what you're thinking about is, what opportunities are there around Christmas? That's going to be the main bulk of what we do. Kirsten and I have pulled out some examples of projects and pages that we think you can learn from, and then at the end we'll give you some links to some of the resources that you can dig into as well after the class, and also we'll be setting out links to what we covered today. So before I forget, we are part of the Crowdfund Scotland team, and we're funded by European funding by Leader. So we're here until the end of 2020. So that's a wee introduction to what we're going to cover. And one thing is, the pictures on the right-hand side of your screen, what they'll show you is that if you go into our Crowdfund UK project page and just even type in the word Christmas, because we've got about 250,000 projects there, you'll pick up every size and shape of Christmas project. Is incredibly diverse. So we'll touch on some of those today. Okay, so Kirsty.
Benefits of crowdfunding. So we just wanted to touch on this so that you've got a clear idea of what you can get out of crowdfunding, apart from the simple answer of being money. So what it can do for projects is validate your idea. So in terms of Christmas, it's going to validate the fact that maybe a community is genuinely interested in putting a project together for their town, be it Christmas lights, whatever. So it's going to, if you're getting people signing up to the crowdfunder and pledging their money, it's really good for proving it's a good idea. It's viable, which could also lead on to the last point of extra funding. Sorry, I'm just going to jump across to that, because if it's a good idea that's been validated by that community involvement, it can also then provide a case for going forward for any other funding. So, if you've got a bigger, a high cost project, for example, that maybe the crowdfunding is only part of that, by proving that the community want to support it, you can then take that forward and apply for any extra funding that might be out there. Jumping back across to the awareness of your project, there's a lot of marketing involved in running a crowdfunder, you are going to have to promote it to as wider an audience as possible. So you're creating awareness of what work you're doing, and potentially people that weren't previously aware will become so. So you're spreading the word. So it's just a natural marketing exercise that will provide that. And with that, you'll get advocates for your project, and it can create an increase in membership. So advocates in terms of future customers, future members, just people who are wanting to help support the journey that you're going on with, be it a business, be it a community council. You might get some more members signing up to that to help out, or be it a charity, people supporting the charity and donating as well. So it's all tying in. And then along with that, you'll get new skills. So things that you maybe haven't done before, like the marketing, learning how to use social media in a way that's going to help promote your project, organizational skills. If you've got people, a team of people working around you, making sure everybody's all tied in and doing the same thing, meeting timelines, and things like that. So there's lots of skills that are at play when you're running a crowdfunder. And if you haven't done them before, then it's a good opportunity to develop those skills and find people with those as well.
Okay, I'm going to talk you through just a wee bit of terminology that we use. We talk about rewards-based crowdfunding, and some of you will be thinking, what is that? Normally, you get two types of crowdfunding. You can have standard crowdfunding where you just make a straightforward donation. That's absolutely fine. By rewards-based crowdfunding, we mean that you make a donation, but you get something in return. So a very basic idea is that you would, you've got a new cafe setting up. So they say, if you make a donation of £10, here's a voucher, you can come in and claim a cup of coffee and a bun. That's as simple as you get something in return for the donation that you make. And you generally pick up a selection of rewards that people get at different price points. Now, I'm going to try and bring rewards to life so you can understand it a little bit more. Okay. We were saying that when you make a donation, the average donation amount comes in maybe £10, £20 at the most. And we encourage people to go for rewards-based crowdfunding, generally because people tend to donate more. The average project that we get in, or the average money brought in by a reward is somewhere between £40 and £50. So that's why we tend to encourage people to go and do that. And the types of projects people or the types of rewards people offer vary enormously. It depends on what kind of organisation you are and who your customers are. Probably the most common one, and this is often done by businesses, is if they have a product or a service that they offer. So for example, down the bottom left-hand corner, you'll see a Christmas box. If you are a business or an organisation that has a specific product, you can offer that. And sometimes capitalising on Christmas, you can really pick out rewards that would be orientated towards Christmas market. Other ones that would be an example of a product could be a gin, the Askable. Well, it's not a gin. Actually, it's rum from rum, Askable rum. And when they've put their page up, they've made a point of emphasising the Christmas market. An example maybe of a service could be if somebody has got maybe a mountaineering, they offer a mountaineering service, and they'll say tie that into the Christmas period or the Easter period. Going back to donations. A lot of community and charity type projects will say, well, it's not really appropriate for us to offer rewards. It's too far from what we do. So maybe if you're raising money for Christmas lights, that might be a straightforward project. Kirsty's got some examples of that. Or if you were going to fundraise for some kind of community meal, some kind of community benefit over Christmas, again, you might want rewards for that. In terms of experiences, a lot of things that we would all plan to do at Christmas, like the pantomime, they just can't happen this year. So a lot of that stuff is going online. It's a real opportunity if you can pivot your business or your organisation. So this year we're getting pantomime. Some of us will be attending pantomime by Zoom. Oh yes, we will. And some of them, they're going to record them as well and play them afterwards. So it's a chance to be creative. Sometimes you only have maybe £1 or £2, you're maybe not that much money and you want to get involved. That's where a thank you one comes in. Sometimes you can just donate £1 or £2. You can have a very low level reward. And then the higher end tends to be for companies or corporates who want to come in. They often will want something that can be a benefit for for their employees some kind of experience. So rewards can be really varied in nature. Right, over to Kirsty.
Yeah, so with that in mind, let's have a look at some examples that we've pulled out. So what we've done is just put a screenshot of the top of the project page. I'm just going to pull out the key points. So the idea behind this is just to give a bit of inspiration, provide some ideas of based on real examples. So this one was actually done back in 2017. But it's a good example of a Christmas light project. It was in Carnoustie, and it was the community council that ran it. They actually had a subcommittee looking after the Christmas side of things. And at that time, well, and probably still ongoing, I suspect, there were budget cuts at Angus Council. So what had previously been funded in terms of Christmas lights wasn't being funded anymore, and the town wanted to keep that going. So they decided to do the crowdfunder. They actually used rewards, but they tied it into things that were already available. So you can see at the bottom of the slide there, for £2, that provided entry for one child accompanied by an adult to the Halloween disco. So you can see obviously the date of this being run was in October. So they've used an event that was already upcoming to tie in with raising money for Christmas in the future. They ran a raffle for high street vouchers, so £5 got you an entry into that, and we have a raffle function available on our crowdfunder pages, so that's also an option. For £25, you got a public thank you on the Facebook page and 2 entries into the raffle. And then, as Brenda mentioned, the higher end or higher priced rewards tend to focus on small businesses, small, medium and sized businesses who maybe have that kind of budget to help towards local communities. So in this case, they got their business name acknowledged via all the social media channels, any local press articles about the lights as well, and then obviously a big shout out at the Switch On event. So they raised just over their target. They had a target of 2,500 and ended up raising 2,711. Now, this next one is Cranley down in England, and this is an example of a smaller target. So you don't have to be always heading for the thousands. This actually, their target is 500. It's actually still live, this one, and it's being run by the Cranley Chamber of Commerce. So the Chamber of Commerce on an annual basis pays around £10,000 for the Christmas lights in Cranley, but it's becoming harder and harder for businesses to find that money, and particularly this year. So a lot of businesses are obviously suffering because of COVID-19. So they're going out to the community to try and just fill a bit of a gap. So, you know, £500 it doesn't seem like a great deal, but it can just fill a little gap in the funding, and it will just ease the pressure on the local businesses who will continue to contribute, but with a little bit of help from the community. And they've gone for donations only, no rewards on that. So on every page, there is the option to donate anyway. So you don't have to use rewards if you feel it's not appropriate. Okay. So this is another community-driven one run by a restaurant, Unity Grill restaurant over in Ayr. So they are a social enterprise. So, and 100% of their profits are going back into the community towards helping to fight food poverty. So they do this, they've been doing it, I think, for several years. This was last winter, and they normally open up their restaurant for people to come in and have a Christmas meal, and they provide that hot meal, the hot drinks, and the general community support. So last year, you can see they raised £3,775, which is a great amount to be able to get for that type of thing. So they offered rewards again, but all very much simple things, and we've got they've changed the wording, they've played on the wording. So for £25, you get a massive thank you. £30 is a huge thank you and a Unity Grill shopping bag. So that'll be a branded bag. £50, a gigantic thank you shopping bag, and then a voucher for cake and coffee. And then £100, an unbelievably big thank you, the shopping bag, and then lunch for 2. And you can do that with vouchers. You can have them buy now, redeem later, if you have that kind of product to be able to offer. So again, a great way, and potentially something like this will have to happen. We'll have to adapt this year, so they possibly won't be able to open up their restaurant to as many people. So maybe they'll need to deliver out to people, or try and use a bigger venue so they can socially distance people. Who knows? But it's good for adapting, because you're still getting the money in, and you adapt what you use it for. Okay, so this one is a lovely charity based in Dundee. They, on an annual basis, they've been going since about 2015, I think it is, 2016 maybe. This is a live one for this year, and they normally all year round they raise money and they put toys into toy boxes on children's wards in hospitals. It's across central Scotland, but focused around the Dundee and Tayside area the most. So this year they are doing Christmas fundraising, and they are, because there are so many visiting restrictions now at the moment in hospitals, so a lot of children might not be getting as many gifts brought into them if they happen to be in hospices, in hospital. So they just want to make sure every child gets their own gift. So they're going to put the money towards that and provide those gifts into the hospitals, and then obviously the staff will be able to hand those out for them as well. So again, an idea for how a charity can easily reach out to the community and raise money for people who need gifts. This one, again, it's a live one. This one I really like. It's a company called Christmas for Kids. They're based in London, but they actually, their product and their shows are available UK-wide. What they normally do is, it's a team of actors and performers, and they put a show together, and they will go around and perform that in hospices. So again, it's for children in hospices and in SEND schools. So that's I'm going to tell you what SEND stands for. It's Special Educational Needs and Disabilities. So children who are out of the normal schooling channels and might be missing out on the traditional educational provisions. So they go into these places, and they're great shows, and they're interactive. It gets, they're light shows. There's lots of puppets and things as well to engage with the children. It's quite a hands-on thing, but they can't do that this year. So again, they're having to adapt, and they are going to still create a show, but do it digitally. And they're doing rewards to raise money. So they're looking £5, a thank you, and you get project updates. £10, you get a video which has been done by the puppets. For £25, you get an exclusive video, which is called Comedy Goes Wrong. And that's actually, you may have seen, it's a BBC programme with one of the actors, Dave Hearn. It's Comedy Goes Wrong. It's a sketch show. So it's that group. He's involved in this group. £50, you get to a link to actually experience the digital show. And for £100 or more, you get combination. You get the 25 and the 50 reward, plus a shout out on the website. And then the highest donation is going to be able to name a puppet for a future show as well. So it's about getting creative with the rewards for that one, and thinking what's appealing at Christmas time. People want to get involved in the community, and you're more in frame of mind of thinking of those in need as well. So it's, in this particular year, it's about adapting, but also just in general, it's thinking, right, how can we get the community involved? What can we offer to them that they benefit, but also is benefiting the people that we're actually focusing on as a charity or a community group? Okay, I'm going to hand back to Brenda now. She's going to have a look at some business examples. Are you there, Brenda?
Okay.
Okay.
Right. I'll cover the business side. So I've got a small business myself, and I've also worked in the community and social enterprise and charity sectors. So a lot of what I'm going to be saying about businesses here applies right across the board for everybody who's here, because if you're a community group, charity, or a business, you've got a piece of work you need to do, and you need to raise money for it. So a lot of common themes. One of the big things is, well, one question is, what are the opportunities that come in the run up to Christmas? And if any of you have ever worked in retail, you'll know that the common pattern, and this is just common sense, is in January, all the sales deadline. Nobody makes any money. You don't sell anything in January. And then it starts to rise up when it comes to July. And then it plateaus. And then once you get to October, you get the spike up to Christmas. So especially in the retail sector, that's a real opportunity. They often call it the golden quarter because you can get a really big chunk of your sales then. So if you can tap into this time of year, we get the most activity on crowdfunded projects at this time of year as well. So it really is an opportunity. The experience-based businesses, such as maybe if you do paddleboarding or something like that, or canoeing, it's the winter's often a quiet time for them to actually carry out their activities. But this is a good time in the run-up to Christmas to sell your experiences online for something that can be redeemed in the future. So how you position your crowdfunder business project, you're usually telling a story. You're usually saying something, I've got some news, or something is about to change. So it could be, for example, you could be saying, I'm setting up a new business, or our business is about to go through a growth phase, or we've got a new product. And increasingly at the minute, we've had a lot of businesses saying, we've just been coming through COVID and we've had to change things a wee bit. So we've got a new idea. So you have something to hang it on. And the way you can look at it is your crowdfunder is you've got a problem, a solution, and where you, the public, come in. So your problem can be, okay, I'm setting up a new business, but I don't really have enough money to get going. The solution is I'm doing a crowdfunder so people can come in and help me, to make it all happen, to raise the funds. And where you come in as the crowd is you can buy my rewards, you can share the news, get the word far and wide. And that's generally how you'll position your business or indeed your charity type crowdfunded project. Now, back to the opportunities from crowdfunding. We know that online retailing has been going up and up in the last 4 or 5 years. In the run up to Christmas retailing has been going up by about 10% per annum, increasing. And this year, in light of COVID-19, I don't know about you, but I don't really want to go down to the high street in the cities to do my shopping. I'm going to be doing a lot of it locally, online, or possibly both. So we're expecting to see a really big jump in the amount of online Christmas shopping this year. So if you're ready to ride that wave of opportunity, it really is an opportunity. And one of the other good things is, even if you're rural, it doesn't matter where you are, you don't have to be in the high street anymore to capture this wave. As long as you're visible, you can take part in this, you can capitalize on it. And one of the big things about a crowdfunded project is you basically run a marketing campaign as part of your crowdfunder. It's one of the best things you'll ever do to raise your profile. So as long as you're visible, you can take part in this. And that goes for businesses, community groups, charities. The success of a crowdfunded project for your business will depend on, first of all, you have to have a good product or experience as something that people will find interesting. And the second thing is you have to tell a good story. Now, Kirsty gave you some great examples of projects. And if you look at their project pages, you'll see the most successful ones are the ones who tell a story well. And then the third key bit, it's building your crowd, it's getting the word out. And we've got webinars that go into all of these in depth. But the way that you'll start is you'll either come up with a project where it's purely a Christmas crowdfunded project for your business, or you can have one where it's all about whatever your product or experience is, but you put a Christmas spin on it. And I've got some examples of projects to show you to bring that to life. So, excuse me. The first one is run by the Social Stories Club. Now, they are a social enterprise organisation themselves. And what they do is they tend to curate kind of gifts that have been made by micro enterprises, really wee tiny ones in the UK and abroad, some coming from the developing world. And they try and get them out of the UK. And what they've been picking up, they've been speaking to the micro enterprises around COVID-19 saying, well, do you want to capitalise on Christmas? And what they're saying is, well, we struggle because we need a long lead-in time to produce our goods compared to a big factory. We also have very limited reach and capacity. And we just can't produce that many things that quickly. And also COVID-19 has affected a lot of the smaller businesses even more. So what this group has said is, they said, well, we've already got quite a good reach. We'll bundle your products together into boxes and we'll sell them through a crowdfunder. So Kirsty will pop the link up to this. They've got a great wee video on their page that explains how it all works. And what they've done is, we mentioned sometimes people don't have much money, but they want to support it. So if you come in with £1, you can be entered into a raffle where you stand a chance of winning one of the gift boxes, which is a really clever idea. Then the next one up is a £35 small gift box. And what they've done is their suppliers produce things like soap, candles, chocolate, all kinds of stuff. And what they do is they'll send you an email and they'll say, okay, whoever is going to be the recipient of this box, what did they like? Is there anything they don't like? And then based on what you tell them, they'll curate this box and they'll make sure they get it out to you for the start of December. What I like is that they can't guarantee what they're going to put in the box. So they say, it'll be a surprise. And that's a really good way of putting a positive spin on it. So you can get the small box at £35. They scale it up to £50 or £100. For the lazy shoppers like me, who I don't like shopping, I love the £350 one, because what they say is, why don't you just get this idea and send it to your whole family for Christmas? Job done for shopping. And the other thing is, if you want to come in as a corporate or a big supporter, they have a wee leaflet in each of the boxes, and it tells you the story behind each of the micro enterprises that they work with. So you could get your name in there as one of the key supporters. And so if you're working with social enterprises, or if you are a social enterprise or a business that could work collaboratively, this could work really well for you. And so that's a Christmas focused project. Let's look at one that just used Christmas. And the first thing I noticed on this is their closing date was the 27th of December. It was back in 2015, but it's still a good project. They built this project up, they pitched it to hit the Christmas market, which was really clever. And they also said in the rewards, look, we're just a new enterprise, a new gin company. There's going to be about a 4-month delay, but we will get the gin out to you by April. And that's fine, as long as you tell people in advance. So this is a really good example, because when they put the website or the page together, they did an excellent job. One of the owners worked in branding and marketing, so they've got a beautifully crafted page they've done. If you want to see how I do a lovely page, look at this one. But what they did throughout their page was they dropped in lots of hints. This would be the ideal Christmas present. And whilst they were running the project, they kept coming back and dropping more Christmas flavours into it. They also, using their social media to promote the project, they kept giving the big Christmas push as well. And one of the things was they came in at a higher level, because their cheapest one came in at £75. What was clever was they made it exclusive collectibles. So they said, this first batch, each bottle will be numbered and signed. And they made it kind of thing. They knew these were great things to sell people. You have got this for Christmas. They scaled it up. 750 wasn't even the most expensive one. They went up to about £2,000. But yeah, it's a really good example, and you could apply this to any business really that has a product. See, could this be a Christmas present for anybody? And then put that flavour into your page, and definitely put that flavour into your socials, into your social media. Now, I'm going to head on back over to Kirsty.
Thank you, Brenda. Okay, so some really great examples for that, for the business side of things as well. So all we've done here is pull together a list of ideas and inspiration, because sometimes at Christmas time you think, I need to, could do with some money, but maybe struggling with some ideas. So, does your town need Christmas lights? Is there a budget deficit there for what would normally happen? So that it's a great way of getting communities involved, and being proactive about looking after their own space. Delivering meals, there's going to be a lot of that going on, and continuing this year, because a lot of meals have been delivered, and food banks and services have been increased over the last few months a lot. So it can even just be a case of building on what you've been doing up until now, but using that Christmas focus when, as I say, people are more in mind of, or mindful of, those around them. And giving gifts, the same idea. That could be you're raising money as a charity to provide and gifts for those who don't normally get them themselves, or in line with the business element of it, businesses can offer to send rewards to other people as gifts on your behalf. Putting on a show is similar to that one, as we pointed out, the example of starting to go digital now with the show, so pantomimes as well might be still happening, and local amateur dramatic shows, for example, and just doing recordings and sending out links to the digital show. Community collaborations, we didn't show this example because we didn't have time, but there was a great one in Kirriemuir where the community got together with students from a local college, and they were, I think they were art students potentially, I can't really remember the type of students, but that's no matter. What they did was they created a project which put a lovely a projected image up on the side of a building. It was all nicely designed. So it was a collaboration between community and people and students, for example. And again, it's just a community involvement and thinking creatively what can be done. Local business selection boxes, you touched on that one with the social enterprise. That can be good for local businesses coming together, especially this year where Christmas markets are missing. So putting something together themselves and curating a selection of gifts that people can buy. Launching a new product, we talked about that with the gin, and even if you're a small business, an independent self-employed person, if you've got a new product you're bringing to market, then pre-sales for Christmas is an ideal time for doing that. And even if, again, an existing business, existing products and services, maybe just offering money off vouchers, for example, as a Christmas gift, and it's a very easy thing to offer online, so you can email out a voucher to somebody. Okay, so Brenda's just going to run through some of the support and learning that we offer.
Okay, so we're coming to the end. So if I mentioned that Kirsty and I, we work on the LEADER European funding programme. So if you're in one of the rural postcodes, that we've got a big spreadsheet, us and the rest of the team can do some one-to-one coaching with you. But even if you're not, we've got lots of other support as well. We've got some really good, absolutely brilliant downloadable guides, actually. I've used them a few times in projects. They're excellent. We also have live customer support. So if you're putting together a page and you've got a question, you just send your question and you'll get a really accurate, helpful response back very quickly. We depend on this all the time. We don't know it all. And they will send you a personalised email response. It's not just a bot, it's a real live person. The other thing, if you want to find out more about what we're doing, you'll see where it says Scotland Learn. We can send you a link to an online training resource. It takes about half an hour to carry out, and it digs more deeply into some things we've talked about today. You can also have a good old nosy at some of our projects. We get 200 new projects on board every day. We've got about over 250,000 to play about with. So if you go onto our crowdfunder page, you can have a really good route about. And we also do some partnership working with the Viva Community Fund. So if you're particularly interested in charitable or community work, you can go in there and see the work we've done in partnership with them. And the other thing is just jump in. Just go and set your page up. Go to crowdfunder.co.uk. Set your page up. It doesn't go live until you're ready. Okay. So that's us at the end now. We've put a lot of the links up there. If you've got any questions, drop us a line at scotland@crowdfunder.co.uk, and myself and Kirsty or one of our colleagues will pick it up and we'll get back to you. I think we've maybe overwhelmed you with all the different projects we told you about today. You might be a little bit stunned. That's fine. As I say, we're going to be recording this and we'll be sending an email out to you later on. Feel free, we'll have a link to this video and feel free to share that with anybody you think would be interested as well. And just drop us a line with any questions. I know I prefer to send my questions in afterwards, so I'm a bit shy like that, but yeah, we're always happy to help. That's what we're here for. Okay, so I don't think we've got anything else to cover just now, Kirsty.
No, nothing else popping in. Does anybody want to quickly type a question to us? Oh, there we go. Oh, thank you, Cara. Great. Feel very inspired. I'm glad to hear that. That's good.
Okay.
Done our job.
Okay, we're here to help. Just drop us a line.
Yep. Thank you for joining us today.
Okay, right.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Okay, we'll see you later on. Take care.